On 19, we think we've got the right language with the half-day information. And we'll work with you on starting earlier or starting later or, making it productive. But, we're not going to commit to an hourly start time or end time in the body of the contract.
Wasn't just one of those two.
Okay. All right, so
It's flexible, either 8 AM or 1 AM. All right, how about this? This will make me a little bit more comfortable. In the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth paragraph, where it says, unless the absence of the employee will disrupt the planned operational activity, our concern is that that's going to be abused. And I think if it was phrased this way, then I would feel better about it, and I would believe that it's not going to be abused. Unless the absence of the employee will create an operational burden. It may mean the same thing, and I think that's what your intention is, but a planned operational activity can be worked in a bad way.
I'm okay with that.
yeah, I'm all right with that. Super. Unless the absence will create an operational.
Or restrict and disrupt the planned operational.
Okay.
If you give us 425 on year one as a bonus, we'll agree to your modified transportation surcharge. Let's get it done.
The language as is.
We'll do a surcharge,
Huh?
transportation surcharge language.
Yeah.
Yeah, $20 a week, and you're gonna cancel in 60 days.
Okay.
We're gonna cancel it from the week anyway, so. $425.
Where else are we? Workers' comp, the workers' comp stuff, you're okay with 8%?
Well, let's just, I mean, is that doable? Because then we can start cleaning up the rest of the mess. If it's not doable, then I'm just,
Well, let's put it in context. What's the rest of the mess you want to clean up? It's got to end on some article, so tell us where you
every
are.
other open article that you want to close, just get a tack on to the bonus, $15 increments.
What's that?
So every other open article that you want to close, just tack on to the bonus and $15 increments. I'll just give you the
Oh, we'll take that.
Yeah.
Good idea.
We'll agree to the language that you just proposed in 19. We also agreed to, you just give us the names, not 3 days in advance, but at the meeting. So 3 were closed.
All right, let's talk about that. 19?
Yeah.
Fourth paragraph, this would be the fourth paragraph. No less than 3 business days before the bargaining session, meeting session time.
That's on that's within you guys. You don't have to, we're just, look. So,
You only have to tell us at the start of the bargaining session.
right, you only have to tell us at the beginning of the bargaining session. We want you to circle around. We obviously are not going to necessarily, have
It's
any-
not enforceable language, right?
That's right.
Okay, why are you in there? So let's get rid
Because,
of it.
well, no, I mean, it's important to us that you understand what's going on, so.
We don't care who does it.
Yeah, we don't
Somebody
care.
step up to the plate and call 6 other people.
Right.
That's all there is to it.
All right. Is there an action that's being required?
Well, yeah, because then when you show up at the bargaining table, you have to bring the list. The list will have the people and how many hours
Right.
of union leave time are gonna be charged. But you
You
don't
have
have
to
to do
bring the
that in
list.
advance. Yeah, you have to bring the list of the people and the number of hours used.
Unless
Because
we're
we
gonna
don't
over.
know if,
Unless
you're
we're
giving
going over.
2 hours, 3 hours, 4
Yeah.
hours, we don't know how many. Because let's, for instance, if the bargaining session were in the afternoon and say Frank started work at 6 in the morning and the bargaining session started at 1, well, he might have worked till 12, so that's 6 hours. Well, maybe he only needs 2 hours of union leave. I don't know. I don't know what time he started. So
Yeah,
Jim
the
might
point
not
is
need
that's-
any, because he might have finished his shift for the day and he's off for the day, so he's on his own time. So then he's not gonna have any union leave time. So we need to know, just when you guys walk in here, you hand us a list, and the list says, here's the name, here's the number of hours, and that's it. And we're not requiring it until the day of bargaining. I don't even
No,
hear.
we're not gonna do that. Okay. So, that is addressed in,
The union shall notify the human resources director at the beginning of the bargaining session, I'm sorry, there's a lot of typos, I was doing it fast, which of those employees are authorized to be paid from the union leave account.
okay, so which, I'm fine with that. And then continuing on at somebody who doesn't comply.
Right. And then in the event that the number of, so you're gonna give me a sheet and it's gonna have like 20 hours on it, or 20, whatever, if there's 6 of you, 4 hours, that'd be 24 hours.
Okay, what I'm seeking to do is, because A, it doesn't require an action, B, is unenforceable, is that first sentence that begins with no less than 3 business days. Just to strike that one sentence, just start that paragraph off with, the union shall notify the HR director at the beginning of the bargaining session.
How about the union shall confirm with its bargaining team members that they've complied with the notice requirements?
What difference does it make if we do or if we don't? And what are
Well,
you
then
gonna
what
do?
difference does it make to you?
What are you going to do if we don't? I mean, it's just ridiculous, it's policy.
Because then if you, well, no, because if you don't comply, then we can readdress this article again and say, look, we're still having problems, so it's, it's kind of
Okay,
incumbent
but
upon
listen,
you
it's just
to-
not realistic contract language. What that is policy language, and you're not writing policy for this local union. You're trying to throw something out there,
All
what
right,
you should
just
be doing.
so we know you're not gonna walk in and wing it, why don't we change it to that you're gonna notify the HR director no less than noon the day before the bargaining session by email. You are.
There is nothing in that first sentence.
Take the first sentence out. But give us, in the second sentence, just change it from telling us at the start of the bargaining session to you're gonna email us to confirm that by noon the day before bargaining.
You're already gonna have received notice from the bargaining unit employees in the third paragraph that's telling you who's going to be coming. And then when we get there at the beginning of the bargaining session, and I look around and I see these people here, I'm gonna say, oh, you want me to write a list? I'll sit down and write a list. That's fine. But anything in between there is not necessary, and now you're adding to language that's not even there.
The work that you're spending trying to convince us of that is more energy than the energy you would spend on letting her know
I don't want to have
the day
a contract.
before.
I don't want to have a contract violation filed by the county against the union, because union, I asked you to confirm all the bargaining unit team members, and I don't think you did. So where's your proof? Where's your proof that you confirmed and contacted these employees?
You're right.
I would say, it's not my, who are you?
That's why I would take out the first sentence and just say, let Barbara know by noon the day before.
Right, right now they
Why
have
do I
to,
have to, when you already have 7 working days prior? You already got.
because they're not
written
notifying
notice.
me, they're not, no, the supervisors
Okay,
are,
why?
but it used to
Because you
be.
took your name out of the loop. Now you want to put it back in again?
Okay, yes,
All right.
because I didn't think
We'll
it
be
was
running
gonna
out
be
of
for
light out
you.
around here.
I
That's
know.
fine, we'll put it back in there. And
Okay, so we'll just put that in there, and to the human resources director, and then leave that, and that's fine. Then I don't need the list, because I'll already know, because I'll have all the emails 7 days ahead of time.
Okay.
That's fine.
So we're striking that first sentence.
That's fine.
Yep, and adding
And
back
adding
in
it back
the
in the
third
first.
paragraph,
Right.
and the human resource director. Right.
So we'll be CCing Barbara.
Yes.
There you go.
And then just starting the second one with, the union shall notify the HR director at the beginning of the bargaining session with the list. Okay, that's fine. Okay.
I feel a couple of unions going on tonight.
Takes us to 53.
Well, let's go through them now, because, okay, so assuming we agree with you on 53, we've already done 23, 34, that will include the 80% language, and 39, that will include the language that gives the discretion for increases above and below. By the way,
Hang on, let me get that up there. 30,
Okay.
what was that again?
34 and 39. And let me, well, I will say this, D doesn't benefit us at all, it benefits the employee. Because what happens is, and I've seen it before, where someone wants to transfer and the department doesn't have the money to give, they have $28,000 budget and the current employee makes 30, so they'll say, well, I can't hire you because I can only hire you at 28. And they've literally not made a selection or said, well, I can't pay you that much, so, and the employee says no, and this is the policy. So they said no, and the employee will say, well, I want to take that, and they're like, no, it's policy, we can't, if you can, so that, for that reason, if an employee really wants to go to another department, but it's say 2 grades higher, and they say, well, I only got to give you 3%, but the employee sees an opportunity there, then it's not fair that they shouldn't be transferred if they want to be. If they waive the requirement to get a 7.5% increase, it doesn't happen often. And quite frankly, it only happens in departments that.
I'd be a lot more comfortable with an employee voluntarily waiving. I would agree to that all day and night.
Okay, well, I think they waived in C as well, because what we're saying in C is that you can get a higher amount if you waive these amounts here. No employee's gonna turn it down. So it would be waivers on the part of the employees in both instances, and let me give you the instance in C, right? So we've got a situation where from the outside, let's just say, the employee, let's say a current employee says, hey, I need to go to, I got a position with Port Richey. They're gonna pay me $3 more an hour. I said, but you just applied for this position. Well, yeah, but I'm limited to 10%. So if I stay here and I only get 10%, that's only $1 an hour. But if I go to Port Richey, well, why wouldn't I want to be able to say, well, whoa, I don't want you to leave, I want you to stay. I can fire him and bring him back because I have authority higher than I can transfer an internal person.
Okay, the problem, I'm sure you know where the problem lies, okay? That's Tom's pitch to you. Okay, listen, I need to get a 15% increase, and I'm gonna skip down on out of here. And I'm working next to him, and I find out that he gets a 15% increase, and I come and say, what the heck says, why did he get a 15%? Well, bottom line is he was gonna go if I didn't give him a raise.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about you're in your current position. I'm talking about you apply for a promotion,
Right.
but I'm
in the same
limited.
department as him.
Okay, so.
In fact, I'm in the same position that he's promoting into. Okay, and.
So you'd rather me fire, or not fire?
No,
You'd
not
rather,
fire,
you'd
it's
ra-
not-
But here's the thing. I can let him resign, and 3 minutes later, I can hire him back. So how have you fixed the problem? I mean, the reality is, it gives me the authority I already have, except that I don't have to go through the whole exercise of, I'm gonna terminate you for 3 minutes.
Well, let me ask you this, not to throw a wrench. In our department, we have some electricians, and maybe you can explain the difference. When they first started, the pay scale was at I can't remember exactly what it is, but they finally got the approval. It took like 3 years because they couldn't fill positions for the electricians to $25 an hour.
Right.
Well, those guys that were there said, well, shoot, man, what we should do is quit and come back, and we could get to $25 an hour. Well, they were told, well, you can't do that. You'd have to wait a year. What's the story with that? I mean, is that bogus or what?
I don't have to wait a year.
Well, in this particular language, they'd be able to get it.
Right.
If they're convinced, I would imagine.
I'm just saying, most of those guys would like to quit and come back and get to $25 an hour because they're stuck at that lower scale and they're doing the same exact job with the same title.
Well, I have 2 comments, right, for that.
Okay.
So one is, the pay and class study will address probably some of that, because obviously we're looking at like the servicing position. The second comment is, there's a risk, because if we don't want it back, we're not gonna hire him back. So there's the risk. And so that, because you obviously, if you quit and go, okay, well, I'm gonna quit and then get hired back, and the department goes, yeah, no, thank you, I'm choosing someone else, that's the reason. I mean, there's the risk in that. So, this kind of gives it to you without the risk, so.
The concern is always disparate treatment, where you're treating somebody differently than someone else. I mean, that's just the obvious, we're gonna be fighting until the end of time.
Well, and you get to bring that up. I mean, if there's any discriminatory anything in there, you get to obviously bring that up. That would be an issue.
So would you mind putting me in on
What does it say?
any allegations of discriminatory increases or given to bargaining employees that are subject to grievance procedure?
So,
As you said, I can bring it up.
Well, Yeah, but she gets to bring it up anyway, I mean, it's a regular, you know, it'd be,
Why would it be a problem to have it in there?
because it's already in there. Don't you have non-discrimination language in the contract already?
What kind of discrimination is that?
Well,
We gotta find a
only
better
kind that-
way to deal seriously
Yeah.
with the issue of paycheck envy. Really, we do. Where one employee never gives much thought about what they're paid until they find out that somebody might be being paid a little bit more than
Well,
they
you
are.
know,
That's And that's so disruptive, and that's so,
Has it ever happened to you?
that takes a positive provision of our proposal here, which would give employees more money and finds a way not to.
Has it ever happened to you
Has whatever happened.
that you worked in a position, I'm sure the answer is no, but I don't know, before you graduated law school, have you ever worked in a position to find out that someone came along after you work in the same position, was making more money than you were?
It happens now.
Absolutely.
That happens now, I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it happens now.
Yeah.
Do you think that's fair?
I accept it as part of the overall
Absolutely.
give and take
Right,
of
but do you think it's
business.
fair?
I never think of it in that context.
Right, it's not a matter of fair, it's a matter of am I
I
happy
look
with
at it
what
from
I'm making?
I look at it as from a business point of view. That's how I look at it.
Right.
You know, I look at it like that, oh, you know, the negotiator is being paid, you know, $20 more an hour than I'm being paid somewhere else. Would I be prepared to take a $20 an hour cut to work
I'm
there?
not talking about somewhere else.
I try that as that's a business decision.
I'll give you a perfect example. When I went to work for with the city of Bradenton, you know, they said, how much do you want to make? I said, X. They said, okay, you're hired. I went in, I found out every single department head was exactly $8,000 more than me, everyone across the board. Now, I'm the HR director, so I would see that. And I could have felt bad about it. Oh,
But you
well, I wish
weren't-
I'd
you
known
weren't.
that. I didn't, because this is the amount of money that I asked for, the amount of money I agreed to, and the amount of money that I'm making, and I'm happy with it. So, you know, I mean, well, yeah, can I say, oh, everybody makes more than me? I mean,
No, that's
that doesn't make any
not the
sense.
same scenario. The same scenario would be, in your case, is that if an employer had 4 or 5 HR directors and everybody made the same amount of money, and you found out all of a sudden that they were paying someone more than you, who just came there doing the same exact job you're doing.
It's
And
the same-
probably
it's the
never
same
gonna happen
scenario.
because most employers don't have.
Right, but that's why I say the department heads, it's exactly the same in the department heads.
It's
We're
not
all
the same, because
essentially.
department heads for different departments may,
You don't
I'm
like-
telling you, in this
John, you
situation,
don't like our
every department
answer.
head was making the same amount of money. except
You don't
for me
like our
and Tim
answer.
and-
I don't like your answer,
Because-
because I don't think you've ever been in a position,
We're still arguing?
No, it's never happened to you.
It happens to me all the time. I work in a competitive type of business, okay? People make more money than me and less money than me. Okay, I try to find the sweet spot every time. I honestly never say, gee, that's not fair. I think about the
You don't
future, I
work
think
in a
about
blue
how can I get
collar-
to
You don't
that?
work in a blue collar, rank and file.
Money's money.
Kind of job.
Well, and
you know?
here's the reality. So the higher the wages come overall, it's kind of like the rising water. I mean, the issue is, you know, if you want to just bring everyone to the bottom, we can all be at the bottom. If you want to start adjusting wages on a case-by-case basis, then what ends up happening is the overall environment becomes higher. And that's the reality. So are we starting to address wages? Absolutely. Is it good that we're not hiring electricians in at $25 an hour instead of $18 an hour? Absolutely, because it's only going to benefit the entire workforce. But, you know, if you're not going to allow us to do that, then I can tell you wages aren't going to come up. I mean, because if everybody's already low, then, and everybody's willing to come to work, and everybody, you know, and we just hire, oh, well, we can't hire the good ones at 25, so we'll just hire somebody that's not so good at
What-
15, then everybody can.
I have a
stay low.
solution here, okay?
You know,
And
let's just not even, we got huge philosophical differences on the way the world spins and the way the world should spin.
Let's not try to solve that.
Right,
Okay.
because it's just it's a waste of time.
That's
So let's do this. Why don't we add a paragraph D that says if C or D occurs, HR will give the union notice, okay? Then you could put it in your book for things that you want to either talk to HR about, or make a pitch on behalf of another employee, or just save it for the next round of bargaining. But you'll know when it happens. You'll have a record of when it happens, because by contract, we're obligated to tell you. Does that work?
Well, it helps, it doesn't fix anything, but it helps. At least it'll be put on notice that someone was getting an increase, and yeah, we can always look into it, and, you know, if we feel that we have, an issue of disparity, we can at least address it.
Okay. We have a deal?
You tell me to do the proposal.
The rest of them, so 34, 39, 46 is fine.
47 is okay.
52, 53, so we got
So we're back to 50.
$425. And that okay.
What was your language on the transportation surcharge? What are you agreeing to?
They left with $20 with the right to discontinue.
If you agree to the 425.
If we agree with the
Right to that.
Yeah, a couple minutes.
Couple minutes.
On the west side of,
No, it's in- Yeah, it's not. It's good. I get it. Yeah, if we can get them, sure.
Jimmy talked about he has, somebody has a running on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if